Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Ron. Today is Tuesday, the 11th, and we've survived the hurricane. No problems here. Everything is pretty good where I am in Jacksonville. St. Augustine just got walloped though. Really beautiful place there, beaches and forts and stuff, and they just got killed. And Jacksonville Beach got killed as well. A lot of sand erosion and homes damaged and that type of thing. But we were very lucky. 20 miles to the west, and it would have been a different story. So let me give you an update on where I am with this Bogen amp here. And this is a Cha-620. So as you'll see, I've stripped the chassis. So I've got the transformers out. I've got one of the electrolytic caps out here, right here. Nothing spectacular yet. I've removed this power pack that was here. I did have to unbend it. This thing was bent this way. So I basically just put this on a flat surface with a rubber mallet and straightened it out. And then taking a look underneath, you'll see that I've got nothing but just a bunch of old sockets, tube sockets with a bunch of crappy solder on them. So we've got this thing stripped out. I've also stripped out the volume knobs and the tone knobs and all that stuff. And I'll drill this out because we're not going to use this microphone input. And I have to see if this thing cleans up. It looks like someone was painting around this thing a long time ago and got some white specks of paint on it. I'm pretty sure I can get that off. But that's where we are with the chassis. But I want to kind of give you a public service announcement about something. So whenever I work on a chassis, of course, the first thing I do is check the transformers and all that stuff and make sure they're good. Right? That's the key, right? Your transformers have to be good and they have to be the right voltages. So the main transformer that was sitting right here is this one, right here. That's the puppy. And I ohmed it out and the test's all good. And I even put power to it to check it. And the first thing I noticed is that this thing has two 4.6 AC volt leads on it. No 6.3 volt filament. So this is a dual, it looks like to me, 4.6 volt transformer. And of course it has a 320 high side. And I was wondering, like, where's the filament for the bulbs and stuff, right? And then I thought about it a moment and said, well, I know there's a bulb on this thing because I showed you that in the first video. But we've got these two vibrators here that had to be powered. So what I'm thinking is that this particular transformer alone was for the vibrators and for the rectifier tube right here. So they were taking the 4.6, probably putting one on the rectifier tube, and taking the other one and splitting it between these two vibrators. But that doesn't solve my problem for the 6.3 volt winding. So there is another transformer that I took out, and let's take a look at that real quick. And this is where it becomes interesting. So when I took out the second transformer and looked at underneath it, I saw a lot of black confetti coming out of it, and I knew right away I was in trouble. Let me show you what this thing looks like right out of the case. I didn't remove anything. I didn't clean anything. Took it right out of the case. Take a look at this thing. There's not one piece of paper in this thing. Nothing. Every bit of piece of paper that was in here with these windings is gone. And you'll see here on the connections, there's still some paper that's stuck to it, and it's all charred. See that? Now the funny part is that the windings are good. So I've ohmed out all the separate windings on this thing, but I wouldn't dare plug it in because it's going to short. There's nothing insulating this thing. So I have to assume that this is going to be the 6.3 volt transformer right here. But as you can see, this is no good. This transformer is shot. I can try to rebuild it, but I probably won't. And I'll see if I can figure out what to do with that. So on this particular amp, I have my my rectifier voltage, no problem. Actually, I have more than I need, but I'm not going to have the 6.3 that I need for the tube heaters and for the pilot light. Now I have a few options. I can put this transformer that I mentioned earlier back in here. That's the 4.6 volt. Now I really need 5 volts, but I think that would suffice. And I can get a separate 6.3 volt AC transformer to use in this project. Or I can use this. This is a transformer that I have for a Fender Deluxe. Brand new, never been used. It's got all the voltages that I need. And it just so happens to fit right in the hole here, like this. Like so. So I think what I'll do is use this transformer for the project, save this for another project. I'll have to get a 6.3 volt transformer to go along with it, and that's what I'm going to do on this. Now I don't know what kind of amp I'm going to build yet, quite honestly. Taking a look underneath, I don't have a lot of room to point-to-point wire. And let me just show you the bottom one more time to explain that. So thinking back on my other projects, I have to make sure I keep the tubes near each other. So here's the transformer. These are going to be the rectifiers right here. And if I put a board in here, let's say I remove this shield, and I put a board right here, I could possibly get away with that. But the issue I'm going to have is that I've got these tube sockets all the way up here in this corner. So I would have to probably move these 12AX7 sockets somewhere here, like that. Not sure. Or, if I wanted to, I can mount the board this way. Okay? And then I would have all my tubes on one side. That would be easy. And then I would have my volumes and stuff here. Now the problem is, I don't want to make another Fender Champ. I've already made 2 of them. You just saw my last one, which I haven't finished yet, by the way. I'm waiting for the long shaft pots to come in. I really don't want to make another Fender Champ. I don't want to make a Fender Deluxe because I just made one of those. So I'm still struggling as to what I'm going to make in this chassis. I do have some real estate, but and I'm sure I could move this. Yeah, this is not welded in. This is just screwed in. So I could move this this shield if I had to. So I'm still on the fence as to what I'm going to make here. But I'm going to really pay attention to where the tubes are, and I may just use a turret, a generic turret board, whatever I end up doing. I've taken a look at some MPEGs. I've taken a look at an orange Tiny Terra, orange base Tiny Terra, that is, and I've taken a look at a few others, which I may end up doing. But I really like this chassis. It's really cool. It's painted black. It's got some nice white writing on it that's in really good shape. The front looks really good. I wouldn't have to get a new front for it. It's already marked, you know, bass, treble, master power on off. You know, this could be a volume pot here, so it says phono, big deal. This could be an input or 2 inputs right here. And I could actually do a speaker output here if I wanted. So I've got the options. This is a motor switch here. So I've got the options what I could do on this thing. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to take my time, but that's the rundown. You know, this chassis actually cleaned up pretty well. So that's the update I have. I'm getting the long shaft pots on Thursday, which I'll put into the Fender Champ Atwater Kent radio amp, and hopefully button that one up. And then we'll start working full steam on this one. Anyway, so the lesson to learn here is do not ever plug in anything that you buy on eBay or in the Salvation Army or on a garage sale. Never ever plug it in. If I would have plugged this thing in, I'd have 4th of July up here. And by the way, a little public safety announcement. For those of you that have benches, I keep this on the bench at all times, just in case. You can pick this up at Home Depot. That's what I did, and I keep it handy and available in case I need it. Alright folks, that's it for now. I'll put a video up towards the end of the week. I have a gig on Friday night, so I'll be busy Friday night, but I'll get something up by the end of the weekend, if not the weekend. Alright? Everybody have a great night. Bye.